So, I love VR games, more specifically Bonelab. Just about anyone I know could tell you that. I just love all the little interactions and details in Bonelab and Boneworks. Although Bonelab had a pretty rough launch, I never stopped loving it. And even though I've taken breaks here and there, I haven't and will never abandon the game. But before I talk about how I fell in love with Bonelab, let me explain how I fell in love with VR as a whole. This was around the time when the world was in lockdown. We were about 6 to 8 months in. I don't remember if the conditions we were in exactly, but I had a friend over. Once again, I don't remember if this was considered safe or not yet. Let's call him Justin. So my friend Justin was over one day, and he brought his new Quest 2 he got for his birthday. We went into the family room and he booted up Super Hot VR. He started casting to the TV and I thought it looked insanely cool. After about 15 minutes of watching him play, he gave me the headset. He taught me how grabbing works and how shooting worked. It was really quick to pick up and pretty natural to me. I was addicted. Every time he asked to have it back, I begged and begged for more time. After a few hours of me playing and him just sitting around, he had to leave, and I was craving more VR. I looked up how much a Quest 2 was, and I counted how much money I had saved up. I just had enough. I asked my parents if I could get one. They said, if you pay for it, you'll get it for Christmas. I woke up on Christmas a few short months later, and I opened my first present. It was an Oculus Quest 2. I was so excited. All I wanted to do was buy Super Hot VR and start playing. I opened the rest of my gifts and immediately grabbed my phone to download the Oculus app to set up the headset. After the setup, I asked if I could buy a game for the Oculus. They said yes and gave me the credit card. I put in the information and downloaded Super Hot. I loved it so much. I played every day as much as I could for months. Throughout that time, I downloaded a few free games like Gun Raiders and Gorilla Tag. I also bought some games like Vader Immortal and Population 1. After a while, I started seeing videos on my shorts feed by a channel named Joeah VR. He was playing on Woohoo Island as Deadpool and shooting spiderwebs. He was beating up an NPC ragdoll looking guy. He was doing insane trick shot reloads with the gun and magazine. The game already looked kinda cool, and I tried to find out what it was called. I found out the game was called Boneworks, and I started watching videos on it. I quickly wanted to play the game more and more. It looked like my dream VR game. Everything was interactable and physics-based, which I thought was so cool. I looked up the game some more and found out it was PC VR only. I didn't have a PC at the time, so I was pretty upset. I still watched Joeah VR's videos, but slowly they left my For You page and I forgot about the game. Until one day, I saw a video called Bonelab teaser trailer that had released 1 week ago. It looked like a sequel to Boneworks with mod support and Quest 2 standalone. My dream game was starting to come true. I watched just about every YouTube video covering updates and news about Bonelab until I saw the release date trailer. It was less than a week away. September 29th, 2022. I was a couple weeks into the new school year, and I was so excited to get home and watch the Bonelab video reviews. The first video I saw was by Get Hip titled Bonelab Sucks. I was pretty confused, so I clicked on the video.
It could be a little bit disorientating. Kind of feels tutorial.
The movement sucks.
It's not really doing too much different.
Gun movement sucks.
Oh lord. Oh jeez, this is...
Oh, I can just go out the door.
Melee sucks.
I'm disappointed with Bonelab.
Frame rate
I
sucks.
found myself clipping through objects and even one time clipping through the entire map.
Stuttering sucks.
Totally unrealistic.
Freezing sucks. Playing each and every level, waiting 5 minutes a load screen, go in and out, sucks.
Bonelab sucks, apparently. Bonelab, the highly anticipated sequel to 2019's Boneworks, one of the most game-changing, unbelievable technical feats in VR of all time, second to Half-Life Alyx, has just released on both PC VR and Quest.
Now I was confused. This game was hyped to be the greatest VR game of all time. The Garry's Mod of VR, a full sequel to the amazing campaign from Boneworks, including custom avatars with different stats. But every video I saw was bashing on the game. The biggest problem was the short and not fun campaign, and the bugs. Oh, there were so many bugs at launch. I didn't want to completely give up on this game, but it was hard not to. I started watching Bam Bayo's Bonelab mod reviews. Eventually, patch 1 came out, and it solved a big majority of the bugs. After watching Bam's videos, it made me realize that I only care about the mods and sandbox. I never really wanted to play the campaign. I checked the Oculus app and it had a 20% off discount code. I asked my mom and she said I could buy it with the discount code. I downloaded the game and popped in a 110% dev save file. I opened the game and went straight into Halfway Park. After starting to figure out the controls, I found out how to spawn in a Ford NPC. I got some ammo and a Glock, and I started to spend hours beating up Ford and recreating the trick shots and reloads I saw on Joeah VR's channel. After a few hours, I went to mod.io and downloaded the Deadpool and Shrek avatars. I had so much fun in the sandbox game mode. I would play as much as I could. Eventually the first modded gun came out, then the first modded lightsaber, then the Spider-Man code mod. The mods made the game incredible. The only complaint I had at the time was that code mods couldn't work on Quest standalone. You needed a PC. But other than that, I was loving the game. Shortly after the beta release for patch 3, Stress Level 0 went silent. No tweets, no updates, or any posts. Right around this happened, code mods were made available on Quest 2. This got me entertained for many more hours when mods were starting to run out. Then the announcement came. The highly anticipated multiplayer mod called Fusion, which was made by Lackatraz, dropped. Everyone was loving the mod. I watched endless videos with people playing together in 7-Eleven or Halfway Park. But once again, it was PC VR only. Lackatraz said there would be a Quest release, but it would take a while. I started to slowly play Bonelab less and less. Stress Level 0 wouldn't talk at all to the player base, there weren't any updates, and patch 3 had been in beta for months. I started to focus more on school and life in general. Very rarely I would boot up Bonelab and beat up Ford and Sandbox for about 20 minutes and then get off. Around September 17, 2023, I finally built a PC with my money. I started getting into Garry's Mod and Black Ops 3. June 6, 2024, Bonelab Patch 4 dropped. I wasn't aware it was out until 3 days later. I was going crazy over this news. Finally, the game was updated. I got in and a lot of my mods were broken, but I didn't care. It was amazing to be back. I started playing PC VR, then patch 5 came out. The game was being remade. I started to do what my favorite part of the game was, modding. I started with making a Kendrick Lamar avatar, then I made an avatar of myself. It was insanely fun. I also started to get really into custom campaign maps. I would download every single one I saw. So, since the recent release of patch 5, I've been loving the game more than ever. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe. It would help out a ton. I'm trying to hit 100 subs. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.